It's the only way you're going to understand it. So, I did the rating already. So domain number 1. Domain number 1. There we go. There's domain number 1. Proficient, proficient, basic, proficient, proficient, proficient. Overall, your domain 1 rating would be proficient. Don't show me interesting. Why is it proficient? What's it take in the domain ratings to be proficient?
No more than one basic component.
There you go. And no unsatisfactories. So domain 1, proficient. Okay. Domain 2. Here's the scores for domain 2. Proficient, proficient, distinguished, proficient, proficient. What's the final rating for domain 2? Proficient. Be proficient? You have no more than one basic component and no unsatisfactories. Why is it not distinguished? Because you have to have 2. There you go. Domain 3. Domain 3 would be? Basic. To receive a basic overall domain rating, you must have 2 or more basic component ratings and no more than 1 unsatisfactory. We have that. Why won't it be excellent? Or why wouldn't it be proficient? Well, you shall have no more than 1 basic component. So we have 2 basics. So it's basic. Right? Domain 4. Domain 4. What would domain 4 be? Right, that doesn't matter yet. That only matters on your final. Would be proficient. Why? What's it have to be distinguished? You have to have 2. Right. So now we have all 4 domains rated. All right. So if you have a pencil and you want to fill it out, if you want to go to part 3, down here on the bottom, there's even a little chart that we will use and you can use as well. So under domain ratings, domain number 1 was what? Proficient. So under proficient, you put number 1 under proficient, under domain rating. Domain 2, what was domain 2? Proficient. So somebody could put a number 2 under proficient. Domain 3 was what? Basic. And put a 3 in the basic. And domain 4 was proficient. So you can put a 4 in proficient. Now, we're not done yet, because now we have to look at the essential components. So, in domain number 1, the essential component was 1E, and what was it? Proficient. I'm sorry. Go back 1. I'll show you. So 1E, proficient. So under the essential components, you're going to put a number 1 under proficient. Let's look at domain 2. 2B and 2D are proficient. So 2, you're going to put 2 number 2s in proficient. At least that's what I did. Or check marks, we both put. Domain 3, C and D, 1 is basic, 1 is proficient. So you're going to put a 3 under basic, you're going to put a 3 under proficient. Domain 4, maintain accurate records, was distinguished. Okay? So now we're going to take a look. So you ought to have, under basic, under domains, you ought to have 1 number. Under proficient, you ought to have 3 numbers. Under the essential components, under basic, you ought to have 1 number. Proficient, you ought to have 4. Distinguished, you ought to have 1. If you take a look at the chart up there, is this person excellent? To be excellent, must have 1 distinguished domain rating, at least 1 distinguished domain rating, 2 distinguished essential components. We don't have that. So you go to proficient. No more than 1 basic domain rating. You meet that one? No more than 1 basic essential component. You meet that one? So the overall summative rating for this person would be proficient. Yeah. Getting an excellent, you're going to have to throw strikes every day, every batter. Okay? Not saying it's impossible, but it's difficult. Is that clear? Really? So let's review here a little bit. We'll go through the rest of it real quick. She talked about this, but you have sample artifacts. You have sample artifacts, things you can collect, right? And then the next thing we need to look at is the tenured teacher professional development plan. This would be if you received a basic or a needs improvement, you have to write a remediation plan. So this is page 20 and 21. This is the plan and how we would develop a plan and what we would do if you are needs improvement. If your needs improvement and you're a tenured teacher, we're going to write up this plan. Probably if you're a needs improvement and you're a non-tenured teacher, you're going to be let go. Okay. Can we write this plan for a non-tenured teacher? Probably so. Yeah. All right. But this is the plan we would write for you. If you get a needs improvement and you're evaluated, what's going to happen next year? You're basically going to be on a fast track 1 year cycle, right? Right. Because if you are on this, it says in here you'll have to be evaluated the next year. You will have to have the evaluation completed next year. Okay. As a principal or as a superintendent, we can request that you get evaluated the following year if we need to. It says that in the plan. If we think there's areas you need to improve on, we can say, you know what, we're going to evaluate you again next year. See if we can improve in these areas. That's written in there somewhere. I don't know if I went over that earlier, but that's in there. Okay? And then finally, the last thing you have is the evaluation rubric. And that's got the components, it's got the essential components highlighted, and you can look through that and kind of see what we use. That's what we look at to see what do we, I saw this going on. What component does it belong under? What area would it be? Proficient, distinguished, basic, or unsatisfactory? Okay. Questions? Yeah. Question? Nobody? Okay, so like Mike said, it's knowing that you have the pre-observation conference. What do you have to have for it? We're going to do your evaluation, your observation, formal observation. What do you got to do for it? We're going to have a post-conference. What do you need to do for it? Right? The informal observations, the things we have. What can you do? You can request a meeting with us. If we give you evidence, I'd like to talk about what you saw. You know, maybe the day we were in there, things were out of whack, and you want to come tell us. You know, I tried to do this, it didn't work. I'm going to do it again tomorrow. I want to step back in tomorrow, something like that. But 80% of the responsibility of collecting evidence is on you. It's on you. Not only collecting it, but showing us doing the things that we see. Throwing strikes every day. So we can see that's going on. Okay? And we're going to be learning as well. We might be making changes to some of this stuff. It'll all be on there. But we're excited. I'm excited to get it started next year. So anything to add, Mike, Dave? Anybody? Mr. Shrieker, anything to add?
I just wanted to share some thanks again to you, Gary, and Brad, the administrators, and the teachers who volunteered to put a lot of time into bringing this project together. I think we were summer ago, we're getting close to the whole summer ago when the principals were going through the evaluation training and the process for being able to evaluate teachers, going through that. Somewhat of a nightmare. Learning all of the information through the training over at Vandalia, meeting and getting together, taking a look at other plans that are out there from Collinsville, Sandoval, and many of the other ones in between. I've been exposed to an awful lot of conversation about this with other superintendents, and I'm really proud that our district is taking a proactive approach to this. For the simple matter that it allows for everyone to learn this process walking together through it. And that if there are bumps in the road and there are mistakes or there are revisions that need to be made, we have several years to do that, don't we?
Yes.
There are folks that are sitting back on their hands with the pity party on their face saying, we'll just take it when it shows up. And they have no control over what they get to do. And I feel sorry for them.
They'll have the 15 forms.
Yeah. To do that. And I don't mean from just the administrative end, I mean from especially the teacher end. And I really do hope that you embrace this and
two things real quick. One I didn't touch on. This is on there, the 4-domain self-assessment. It's kind of a where are you now? Where am I now? You can get on there and look, and it's got a little checklist, and you can go through each domain and kind of, you don't have that, but it's on the website. Take a look at that and see where do you think you are at in those areas. If you're honest with yourself, you'll understand what it's going to take to improve and show what you need if you're really honest with yourself. And you click on that and see, and I think that'd be a great thing to talk about in a pre-observation conference or a post-observation conference. This is, where do you think you're at? What do you think you did? And if you read through those and you're honest with that, I think it'd be good.
So on the very first page where we got that checklist, basically that's, think about, this summer, that's basically your summer homework. Take a look at the rubrics so you know what's on there first of all. Take a look at those frameworks, take the self-test, so you can kind of see where you are. Then when you come in, you can actually have an idea of what kind of goal you want to set. After doing that self-evaluation, I'm not very good here, well, there's where you should probably look for your SMART goal. And otherwise, you come in here August, good luck, Like you said, have an idea of what you're going to do. So,
It'd be hard to fake your way through it. That's just the honest of it.
pre-work is kind of
And the last thing I'm going to say is we have to be in 2015-16. Is that right? We have to have the student growth. I think it's 15-16. Well, we have to have the student growth in by 15-16. Our hope is that we can see some districts that are doing that, and we can help, and we can steal from them again, because that's going to be a really difficult process for you, because you got to come up with assessment. You've got to come up with, as a first grade team, an assessment you give to every first grader 2 or 3 times a year. It's going to be a lot of work. So hopefully we can get through this next year. The following year, next year just worry about this evaluation. The following year start to talk about student growth. And then by 15-16, we can have them implemented before the state tells us how much we have to do and what we have to do. And I talked about waiting on the state. If we wait on the state and use their model, you would have had the 15 pages of paperwork you had to fill out before every observation. It is good. We've done this. Appreciate the fact that we're taking it on. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to call me or your principals, or if your teachers are in your building. I don't mind trying to help answer them or help you through it. So if nobody has any questions or anything else to add, thanks a lot, guys.